Good morning from Auckland. I've been staying here at the 4 Points by Sheraton here in the CBD. I was obviously here for the Auckland Half Marathon or Marathon Festival. Today it is time to fly back to P-Town in Perth. Today I'll be flying business class on Qantas from Auckland to Perth via Brisbane. So I'm going to have the lie flat product on the A330, or that's what I'm booked in for, from here to Brisbane. I think it's a 3-hour layover in Brisbane, so plenty of time to get some work done, check out the lounge. And then the 737-800, they still use the NG version of the 800. Qantas don't have any Maxes yet, or Max 8s. So that is obviously going to be a very different product where the business class is in a 2-2 layout. I've never flown that. So again, it's going to be a good chance to sort of compare the pair. Obviously the lie flat seat is going to be superior, but I still want to compare it just in case someone who's never flown Qantas before has the chance of flying an A330 or a 737 on the same route. So we're going to get an Uber to the airport and I will see you guys there. Welcome to Auckland Airport. I walked in to see the Qantas check-in immediately on my left, and I was here 3 hours before, but the lady checked me through, no worries. So I was now on a one-way mission to, walk around the airport and then find the business class lounge. So I didn't mention in my last review how much I'd paid for these return flights. So I'd actually got myself a pretty good deal. I paid for the A330 and 787 product on the way to Auckland. I paid 1,400 Australian dollars. And then the return leg of this flight was 80,000 frequent flyer points on Qantas, with only $112 worth of taxes. So really, I've got a return business class fare for under $1,500, which I think is a pretty good deal. Just walking around Auckland Airport, I'd sort of forgotten how much I actually like this airport. It's not massive and it's never overly busy, but it's well equipped with everything you'll need. I haven't been here since 2019 and it's just such a fresh airport to walk through. Thank you so much. So welcome to the business class lounge here at Auckland Airport. Considering Qantas have so many flights going in and out of Auckland to various cities on the east coast every day, it's a relatively big lounge. It could be better well stocked, but there was plenty of seating. Wasn't too busy at this point when I got there, but it did gradually fill up throughout the day, but there was still an abundance of seating even during the busy points. Very friendly staff member actually bought me this plate of pasta around, so I was like, I'm going to get me some more of that, only to find they only had plain penne pasta available at the actual little buffet that they had, which was a smidge disappointing, but can't win them all. So off we go to find my A330 for the day. Now Dum Dum here saw Perth on a departures board and went to the wrong gate. So even after doing 270 or 80 flights, whatever I'm up to, it just shows that if you're not fully awake and haven't had enough coffee in the morning, you can still make mistakes and walk to the wrong gate. So here is my A330-200 aircraft to get me over to Brisbane tonight. It's a 2009 built 15-year-old A330-200. And surprisingly to me, when I step on board, as you'll see in a second, it actually had a different business class stagger to the previous A330 I'd been on. So I was expecting an aisle window seat, but when I got on board, I actually had a true window seat, which was a very pleasant surprise to myself.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks, Mr. Smith. Just in this case.
Thanks so much. So back to a very pleasant place to spend a few hours on a flight. One difference between this business class seat and the other A330 I flew was this had cloth seats. Other A330 product did have a leather seat. But everything else was pretty much the same. Hey, how are you going?
Thanks, how are you?
Very well.
Can I do a free flight transfer?
Yes, please.
Sparkling water, still water, or champagne?
Champagne would be great. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. champagne was served as the pre-departure drink, and I cannot be convinced that champagne isn't just fizzy piss water. Ew.
Wherever you're flying to today, and for whatever reason, we hope your trip is a safe one, and we hope you get to your magic taste again really soon. Thank you for choosing to fly Qantas.
So, you're about to meet Glenn. Glenn's a fucking legend and made this flight so much more enjoyable than it should have really been. You're going to see him come up a bunch of times as he serves me throughout the flight, and he was honestly fantastic.
Mr. Smith, some dinner there for you.
Yes, please.
Now I have either a roast pumpkin and spinach lasagna, or I have a salad. It's roast beef that's with barley, broccoli, parmesan, and a chimichurri dressing today.
I will try the beef, please.
Beef.
So my new favourite person in the entire world, Glenn, laid me out this scrumptious meal. Honestly, I was really impressed with the food quality on Qantas and business class. I know it hasn't always been the best, but every single thing that I ate on this trip was above standard. To top it off, got rid of that yucky champagne and got me a beer. So this being a relatively short flight, during the daytime only being around 2.5 hours, there's not much you can really do except kick back, enjoy another cold beer and watch the movies. I love this feature again where you can submit your own rating at the end of the movie, and then that sort of averages out, and when you click on a new movie, it shows everyone else what the critics rating is and the passenger rating for that particular movie is. It's just a really fun little feature. I've gone through the Qantas entertainment guide before. Again, I think it's great. It's not quite up to the standards of someone like Emirates, but more on par with a Qatar, I'd say. They're always expanding their libraries, and as you'll see in a future video where I start doing 17-hour flights, there's always movies available to watch. So now that I've had 3 or 4 beers, I'm absolutely bussing for the toilet. So throw the tray table away and it's time for the Mile High Club review. And this is really where I think Qantas could do a bit better. There is nothing special about their business class bathrooms at all. I just think like a special hand spray or a cologne, maybe not a cologne, but something sort of like that to freshen up in the bathroom would go a long way in making this particular bathroom feel a lot more sort of unique and special.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is off. As always, smoking, vaping, and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Please take care when opening the overhead lockers, as baggage may have moved and could fall out. Before leaving, ensure you check your seat and seat pocket for any personal items. If you can, reach your phone. You can now turn off flight mode. Just a reminder for those of you with domestic connections to collect your checked baggage and clear customs, and then make your way to the domestic terminal.
So welcome to Brisbane. There was a little bit of a delay getting off the plane as the pilot missed his marks by 6 inches, which led to quite a few jokes going around the cabin. 6 inches is very important, everyone. But eventually we're off the aircraft. I did get the chance to thank Glenn for his super work. He really did make the flight just awesome. Every time he saw that my beer was half empty, he either bought me another one or just topped up my glass, which is just awesome service.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, now we have about a 2.5 hour layover in the Qantas lounge until my next flight, which is the 737 business class product back to Perth. Transferring through Brisbane Airport is super easy. You collect your luggage, clear customs, and pretty much as soon as you walk out of the arrivals hall, there's a place to drop off your luggage. You then just catch the bus from the international terminal across to the domestic terminal, walk through security, and you're in. Sweet. I then spent about an hour to 90 minutes in the Brisbane Qantas business lounge, but everything was sort of already shut. The bars were closed. They'd already cleaned up all the food. So apart from a nice quiet place to sit, there wasn't really a lot happening. Beautiful. So here is my Boeing 737-800 that's going to be flying me across to Perth this evening. Qantas have approximately 70 Boeing 737s, and exactly 50% of them have the newer Sky Interior / in-flight entertainment. So it's really a roll of the dice whether you end up with a newer looking product or an older product. Every time I've flown home from Brisbane recently, I've ended up on an older product. So you can see here, a recliner chair, still plenty of leg room, but there's no in-flight entertainment.
Do keep your seatbelt fastened.
You'll find your life jacket under your seat, next to it, or in the leg rack.
We hope your trip is a safe one, and we hope you get to your magic place again really soon. Thank you for choosing to fly Qantas.
So now that we're up in the air, snacks were provided before the dinner service, which was actually pretty slow. The economy class cabin of the plane was being served well before us, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. I was pretty keen to get to sleep, so I had sort of set up ready to go to sleep as soon as my meal had finished. But eventually the nice hostess came around with our food. Tray table opens up just like this, which is a plenty big enough table. And I tell you what, this chicken curry was fantastic, especially for an economy class meal. The bread was a little chewy, but all in all, I really can't complain. The Wi-Fi, which provides the in-flight entertainment on this flight to your personal device, wasn't working. So at this point, I pretty much kicked back, tried to get as much sleep as possible. I actually found these seats really hard to sleep in because the headrest is so big. There's a lot of room for your head to sort of move around. So honestly, not the best chair for sleeping in. Woke up just outside of Perth, so pretty much here we are descending into Perth, and I'll give you my closing thoughts after I leave the airport. So yeah, it's now obviously been a couple of months since this trip. My hair has grown a bit and my beard's actually come back after shaving it off. But yeah, closing thoughts on Qantas business class was overall, I had a really good experience. Overall, I'd say it's about a 4 out of 5 experience. There's just a lot of small things which could be better where you can see there's been some cost cutting. First and foremost, no amenity kits on any of the flights, which I know they're not long haul flights, but when you're paying a premium price, being able to brush your teeth after the meal would be nice, or maybe eye shades just to help you sleep. That would be nice. Bathrooms are very under-equipped, very small, nothing sort of sleek or special, nothing special about them really. They're just lavatories, which I think, again, when you fly business class, just having something different compared to economy class would help it, there's my cat, would help it stand out a little bit. Qantas's cabins as well are very bland, and like outside of the actual seats themselves, there's nothing special about them. And you're gonna see this in my next flight review, which is Sydney to Dallas, a very long flight. They're just a bland cabin. Like when you fly bigger airlines like Emirates or Qatar, or even, I like to point out China Airlines last year, they have a very distinct special cabin that you know that you're on an Emirates flight, or you know that you're on a China Airlines flight. I think there's room there for Qantas just to be a little bit more flamboyant with their product. I know they're going for a very sleek sort of presentation of their product, but just a red flying kangaroo on the galley wall would do wonders. If you can as well, it's absolutely not worth trying to save some money flying business class on the 737 product. Yes, you might pay a little bit more to get the lie flat bed on the 787 or the A330, but it's absolutely worth it. There really isn't anything special about the big recliner on a 737, especially when it doesn't have an in-flight entertainment system. That's really a big letdown. So next time, if I was flying back on points, I would spend a few thousand more points to make sure that I was on an A330. I deliberately did this so I could make this video comparing the 737 and the A330, but I absolutely wouldn't do it again. The A330 is obviously a far superior product, and it's just a happier place to be for that few hours that you're on the aircraft. All in all, I'm gonna give them a big tick. A couple of delayed flights, but I would definitely do it again, especially for the price that I got, $1,500 approximate for a return trip. Yes, I burned some frequent flyer points. It was a really good experience. So next time I go to Auckland, this is definitely something that I'd be looking at doing again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Until I see you next time, safe travels.